Alright guys, today we're building a desk. Alright, welcome back to another Big Iris production video. Today I'm going to discuss how I built and assembled the Uplift desk. So instead of going out and buying my own desk, I decided I'd put my hand to the test and try and build one myself. Now what this meant was going to the store. I went to Lowe's and looked at some wood, found some nice wood that I liked. I did have them cut all of the pieces to a specific length. The table itself came out to be 72 inches by 30 inches, which is a pretty standard desk size. I started by laying the oak that I bought on top of a giant sheet of plywood, and I used 2 cans of liquid nails constructive adhesive to glue everything together. Now I didn't actually use any nails, which is something that I like about this desk. I didn't have to deal with that, and so far the desk is holding up really well. Once I got everything glued down and in place, I was able to use 4 clamps and 2 buckets to hold everything in place, as well as some rope with some little connections I'll talk about here in a bit that were really helpful. The tool I used to trim off the edges was an oscillating Dremel. Now while it worked, it probably wasn't the best tool for the job. I suggest sticking with a good old-fashioned handsaw. Alright, here we are, day 2. Turn this over for you guys. Managed to put some putty in between the cracks last night. Looks like it dried. My next job's gonna have to be to sand all of this off. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and take off our clamps, our little homemade clamps. Actually worked out pretty good. These are really handy little gizmos. If you guys haven't checked these out before or seen these, they're called fish bones. This is a little Kickstarter project I backed. Basically just a piece of metal, but you can connect like anything to it, so pretty awesome. And should be good, so take a look at that. Looks pretty good. This is in our sunroom right here with all these plants. It's really hot and humid in here. So I'm open the door here so that we can get some air in here so it doesn't warp our wood. But let me go ahead and take these off. Gotta switch out the sandpaper. Done. Alright guys, it's a couple hours later. I've been sanding it for a couple hours and it's getting nice and smooth, and it's pretty darn flat, and so I'm quite pleased with it. This is what it looks like from far. And now I'm gonna see if I can fill in these cracks. Not all the cracks are quite filled good enough. I'll probably just go get some crack filler really quick, fill them up, and then we'll stain it. So yeah, here we go. After all the sanding that was done, I ended up finding a couple other cracks in the wood that needed a second application of wood crack filler in them. Now luckily you can see me working here in the night. Luckily it only took about an hour to dry, but by that time I wasn't able to use the loud power tools outside, so I ended up having to hand sand it back down to a smooth surface. Alright guys, hopefully you can see this. I'm out here in the dark now, but I'm just applying the finishing coat on it. This is Stain and Satin 615 Golden Oak. I applied it to the whole thing, so hopefully you can see that. And it's looking pretty good. We got it all sanded down. You know, some rough spots right there where it wasn't perfect, but other than that, it's turning out really good. So anyway, I went ahead and I'll just show you. Sprayed this on the table. Watch everything blow up. No, and we just wipe. Just make sure it sinks in. I did notice with this piece of wood here, this 8-inch board here was a little bit rougher, and it had little gaps in there, and so I had to actually take the spray and spray directly down to get into those gaps, and then it filled them up. So next we're going to put on the polyurethane, that's the word, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so we moved it into the garage where it's a little bit warmer in here. As you can see, it's looking pretty good. It's got kind of a nice tint to it. Anyway, that's it for now. We're gonna let this dry overnight, and then we'll set up the legs on it, and we'll finally have a desk. Now before I put on the legs, I actually applied 2 coats of spray-on polyurethane. I went with a matte finish because I didn't want a glossy top. I didn't want my monitors reflecting off the table and into my eyes, so I went with a matte finish, and it turned out looking really good. At this point, I was finally ready to assemble the legs of my Uplift desk. Instructions are pretty easy and straightforward. The most difficult thing you'll have to do is pre-drill some holes for some screws. Once I got everything assembled, it was time to clear out my old desk and move in the new one. Now, in case you're wondering, my new desk that I just built is not a light desk. The desk itself, the wood weighs about 100 pounds. My computer weighs about 30 pounds. The new Dell monitor that I got weighs 18 pounds, and the other monitor I have is probably somewhere around 8-ish pounds. So with everything loaded on the desk, you're talking over 150 pounds just for the desktop and computer parts. Alright guys, if you look here, I'm just cutting up some of this sticky tape. It's like super duper sticky stuff, and you might need some of this. I'll put the link to it in the description. It's amazingly sticky, but I'm cutting it up because if you look under here, see my cords are coming off. So I'm sticking it on there. That's the original sticky piece, and these are the little sticky gizmos they sent me. And apparently they're just not sticky enough. So we're sticking them on. This one fell off, this one fell off, and this one fell off. So yeah, they could probably have some, or give us some better sticky gizmos, but it's nothing against the desk. It's really just these cheap sticky things that they provide. So anyway. Now, for those of you who are wondering, I'm showing you the time it takes for the desk to travel from its lowest stance of 24.5 inches to its highest stance of 50.5 inches. Now for me, I'm about 6'1" inches tall, and I sit my desk at about 45 inches. So that should give you an idea of the range of motion that the desk has. So not only has this desk been great for standing, I've also noticed it's actually really handy for keeping expensive items away from little kids. Whenever they're around, you can just raise the desk up and not have to worry about your stuff on your table. Now, cord management is a little bit of an issue, but as long as you're not staring at it, you don't really notice it. So just do the best you can do. I found that using these sticky mounts really helps quite a bit, but like you saw earlier, they do tend to fall off. The Uplift desk legs come in 3 different colors, which are white, black, and silver. You also get the choice to pick between a T-frame and a C-frame style of feet. These are the C-frames that you see here. Now, besides the fact that this is a standing desk, one of the coolest features about this desk is its electronic keypad, which you can use to program for specific sitting or standing heights. Now, I have tried other versions of standing desks before. At work, I use the IKEA version of their standing desk, and while I like it, I can honestly say that the Uplift desk has the better build quality. It's sturdier, and it just has a better feel to it. Now, that better feel is not cheap. It comes at a premium price, with the legs of the Uplift desk starting at $499. That does not include the desktop itself, which you can get for about another $100 or so, but the desk that I built for myself costs about $250. Guys, that wraps it up for today. If you liked the review and thought it was helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to see more. Don't forget to visit the description where you can find the current pricing of these products.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.